All right, folks, you know what time is it? It's 10 o'clock p.m., and it's time again for the Midnight Run. I'm your host, Vince Goodrum. I don't expect too many people to be here tonight. I was actually going to postpone it until Saturday because a lot of people are spending time with their families, as well as it being Black Friday. But I'm glad you guys tuned in. But as always, before we begin, tell me what you are drinking and smoking tonight, okay? Just tell me what you're drinking and smoking. Right now I have my coffee and I have my water, and I actually left my brandy in the other room, so let me go ahead and get that. All right, the great one is back. And I got my cup of brandy. So, folks, tell me what you're drinking and smoking up here. Got some Blue Dream. Okay, I guess that's some weed here. Truth one, that's nasty, dude. Research purposes. Got wasted last night on rum and Stella beer. And that's my whole thing. Like I said, I didn't expect too many people. I don't expect too many people to be here. I was going to actually postpone tonight's midnight run, but I want to make sure that, I'm still going to be smoking. So I'm still going to hang out with you folks here. So it's my favorite thing to do, just get questions answered. Got water for right now. All right, I don't know what time zone you're in. I guess it's 10 o'clock here. So I guess it must be a different time here. So, did I cop anything for Black Friday? Folks, I don't shop for Black Friday. The only thing I got was my new Mint Mobile service. I had to get off of Verizon service because I no longer get my employee discount. So I still keep the Verizon home internet that still runs my streaming services, and I'm just gonna leave that the way it is right now. Do you think a peppermint milkshake would taste good? I'm not into really any heavy creams or anything like that because any type of milk product that I actually drink is gonna give me a stomach ache there, to be honest with you. But with that, folks, tonight's cigar is going to be a Gurkha Hudson Bay. So, one of my favorite cigars. Good old Nicaraguan Cuban seed tobacco. Let's see. Dessert wine. So, see, I hadn't even had time to really cut my cigar, so... Folks, it is now Purple Flame time, so let's get lit up and hit me with your questions that you got here. Oh, Wu-Tang reference. Didn't know that. I've met Kai Green before many times here. I've met him when he was in the WNBF. He's always had an eccentric personality. He's a great artist, so. Oh God. When you wrote the word datum there, I had to just no, I definitely wouldn't date Kai Green. Like I said, definitely not my type. Raw, I've not smoked weed in about 20 years. But when I smoked weed at the time, it was the Chronic there. That was in the mid 90s, but I haven't really done anything since. Well, Athens, there's no twink under the table. But, when it comes to me, as far as games are concerned, I keep that between me and my partner and stuff like that as far as what things are done. Remember, folks, unlike Vegan Gains and all these other, and Frank Tofano, if I'm going to go do anything, I'm not going to go and spread my business out everywhere. That's the problem with some couples, gay and straight there. They want to just air out everything. They want to tell people whose ass they're licking or whose pussy they're licking and stuff like that. People don't want to hear that. You know, keep the curtains closed in your house, in my opinion. Well, Genova was actually inhaling the cigars, which you're not supposed to inhale cigars. Yes, to be a successful artist, you definitely have to be eccentric. My ex-husband, he's a great artist, and he was quite eccentric there. So, have I tried edibles? That's after my time itself there. So, no, I've never tried any edibles. I've not used any marijuana products in, like I said, almost 20 years. At that time, there weren't any edibles or anything like that. It was just a chronic. Yes, truth. I actually got a funny story about my wisdom teeth. So I had my bottom wisdom teeth removed in 2007. I had a schedule for the top ones to be removed, but Alltel, the company I was working for at the time, decided to close out the entire facility and lay off everyone, including myself. So I had to cancel that appointment, and I never got around to it until actually August after I left Verizon. That was one of the last procedures that I had done, was getting my wisdom teeth on the top pulled. So in between that time, 15 years pretty much passed between getting the bottom ones taken out and the top ones. Well, Athens, you ain't got to be jealous there. There's plenty of my videos that shows, the cigars and stuff like that as far as which ones are going to be the best ones to use. So you can also go on Cigars Daily. That's that guy. That's a good channel if you really want to learn about cigars. I mean, like I said, this isn't really so much as an educational program on cigars. It's more or less just a hangout, in other words, here. But, I'm more than happy to tell people as far as cigars are concerned. As far as what type of technique and etiquettes that you want to use with the cigar. Because remember, whenever I'm filming on a live stream, I'm pretty much more relaxed than as opposed to going to a cigar lounge where etiquette has to be shown. There's different techniques, there's different mannerisms you have to have. Well, I appreciate you wanting to send me some edibles, but I think I'll be just fine there. But definitely appreciate that. I don't know how you would get that across borders, but I guess you can do anything. I mean, I used to have steroids shipped from China, so I can figure that. So, oh yeah, there's a lot of good football. I watch college football on Saturday, and I watch NFL football on Sunday. Although on Sunday for NFL football, usually I just watch it on my phone while I'm working. Raw, I've had zero sexual procedures. I've not had any cosmetic or any dysfunction itself there. Now, I will admit that I've slowed down, but that's typical for anyone at the age of 45. Your testosterone drops, and even with taking DHEA, you're not going to be at the levels that you used to be when you were in your 20s and stuff like that. Well, Serratus, a $50 and $300 cigar is very expensive. Even a $50 cigar. I mean, you're talking very expensive cigars. Your typical daily smoke should range around $5 to $10. If you're smoking a $50 cigar, I mean that's more expensive than a Davidoff there. There's a lot you can do with $50. $50 is what I would spend on a bundle of premium cigars. But given the price difference between 50 and 300, a $300 cigar, I can almost guarantee that would be from Cuba, or either that or it's going to be a special edition. My libido wasn't really high on Trin. It actually decreased. It affects people a lot differently. Trin is a very harsh one there. Deca, oh, that. I mean, if you take Deca, that made my libido go way up. But for me, not Trin. Trin was just to build muscle. But I was in my 20s, so I already had plenty of libido. But I could tell it was kind of decreased. Paul Mason brandy. I'm not familiar with that brand. I'm not sure if that's a French brandy. When it comes to brandy, the only brandy you should get should be French brandy. If it's from any other place, then it's not really brandy. But let me just look that up. I mean, it's over 100 years, so I'll check it out later on there. I drink Symbol French brandy. Raw, in your early 30s, your testosterone should be still good. After 35, you'll notice it starts to trend down. I definitely appreciate it there. Brad's a good guy there. In fact, all the misfits there, they have their good points, even Jay Masters of all people. Well, for me, Athens, I mean, testosterone starts going down for technically different ages. Mine didn't start going down until after I turned like 36 or so. Oh, yes, there's definitely a difference in not only the taste, but also the burn level. So, this cigar here, you can tell it's a premium long filler cigar because you could see that ash point right here. Now, or if you guys remember, the cigar I was smoking last week was a factory smoke. That was a Cuban sandwich, and you could tell that that was all over the place. This here is an example of a premium cigar, but when it comes to the cigar, you're definitely going to notice a taste, but it's also going to be a burn level. And as you can tell, this one is pretty much almost even there, with the exception of a few humps. A super premium cigar is just going to be almost solid. It's just going to burn almost evenly. And it also, the differences between that is, you have different type of rollers that make cigars. You have master rollers, and then you have apprentice rollers and stuff like that. And when you're doing an $80 cigar, you're going to have a master roller. You're going to have the best in whichever country there. It's not going to matter. Someone that's been probably rolling cigars for like 20 or 30 years at least. Well, wine and brandy is kind of affordable there. I mean, the French brandy that I drink is only $14 there for a bottle. So, I mean, you just have to check results and stuff like that. If you want something that's at a good price and is great to drink there, I would try Symbol French brandy. I think it presents a remarkable beverage at a very valued price. Hey, Vegan Legend, thanks for the donation. No, I don't like caca or anything like that. Like I said, I don't eat too. If you're referring to chocolate, there, I'm not big on too much chocolate. Unless I've just got finished working out, then you want to get your simple sugars in. What were my best lifts on steroids? I had a 395 bench. I did 500 in squats there. I mean, those days are long over. And deadlifts, I did a lot of heavy weights when I was on the juice. And you know the best thing about it was is not so much as heavy lifts, it's just the recovery. You know, I could work out super hard, and then like an hour or two later, you know, I'm ready to go work out again. I can literally work out all day when I was on the stuff. So it's not just the fact that you can lift heavy with them. It's just the recovery time. The recovery time is just awesome. Conor McGregor is not natural. Most MMA fighters are not natural at all. Uh, Most of the time they're using like short stacks, stuff that will leave the body within like a couple of days. Definitely not no deca, but you know, and also the biggest thing about MMA fighters is they have a bad habit of using a whole lot of stimulants here. So I mean, naturally, being an educator myself, any live stream that I do is gonna definitely probably be educational. So I could see where you're coming from on that. But yeah, I at the same time, I want this to be a very relaxing, chit chat there. Because I mean, I realize that I don't do a live stream every day like Big Lenny. So whenever I do my live streams, I want to make sure it's on a schedule to where, I can give you my full attention. Feces? No, I don't eat feces here. Was that what he was talking about? Oh well, he left a donation, so it's all good. So now, why would Jay Masters wants to get bigger for? He needs to lay off things here. Oh yeah, guys, I did watch. A couple of y'all suggested that I watch Yellowstone, and I didn't want to watch Yellowstone until I watched 1883 just to get a background of everything. A lot of people get killed in that show. I mean, gosh. I mean, I know they're trying to be like Eamon Bundy and everything. Uh, but I mean, that's a pretty violent show. So I definitely look forward to seeing more episodes of it. I think I'm on episode 7 at this point. Exactly, Kaizen. But they have to be careful on those stimulants because remember, if they don't make weight, they can't use the stems in order to make weight. But yep, that's exactly the reason why they use those stems. It's just to cut weight. Yes, Richard would get his butt kicked if he got into a fight. I was kind of insulted that he would compare hitting his head on a ceiling and playing hockey to my work as a corrections officer and doing security work. I mean, uh, that's it's just laughable. But at this point in time, a lot of when it comes to vegan gains, just anything comes out of his mouth at this point. Yes, Deadwood was definitely better than 1883. So I think 1883 was more or less trying to be like a periodical type thing. Yep, they use test suspension a lot because the time it gets out of the body is pretty slow. But there's also another one that they use. I can't think of the name. It starts with methsterone or something like that. It's a steroid. It doesn't really build much muscle, but it gives a whole lot of aggression. Jake, I actually applied for my concealed carry permit. I'll see if I'm able to get it, but last time I wasn't approved. I have non-lethal weapons though. You see, I'm not allowed to own firearms anymore, so don't ask why. So But the great one can't own firearms. So I did have in bodybuilding. You definitely have to cut weight, and I actually had to put on weight, and I also had to cut weight uh, in bodybuilding. I mean, that's just a general rule. Different sports, whether you're boxing, MMA, or so forth, you got to cut weight. Even in baseball, you got to cut weight. In football, you got to cut weight. Any type of athletic sport or modeling or anything like that that shows off the physique or an athletic activity, you got to cut some weight or you got to gain some weight. Hmm. You eating some pecan pie? Yeah. Yeah, my mom had some over for Thanksgiving there, but as well as some ice cream, but I just said no to that. Yeah, though I got a sauna suit at home, which I only use outside of the sauna if I'm working out. The most dangerous thing is using a sauna suit and then getting on putting an exercise bike in the sauna and pedaling. That's highly dangerous, but I've seen a lot of the MMA fighters use that to cut weight. It's quite dangerous. But when you're only given 48 hours and you have like $10,000 on the line as far as a paycheck is concerned, it means all the difference here. Right now, I don't have any abs to show, Roll. So, I mean, I'm coming down on the weight a bunch there, but it's still some safety fat. Mm. I mean, if you want a routine as far as abs are concerned, the best way to do it there, and the way I do it, is crunches. Sit up crunches and, ab crunches from a pull up bar. Those are going to be your best selections and options. How can you gain water weight after having diarrhea? Whenever you have diarrhea, you actually end up losing fluids here. It's important when you have diarrhea that you're drinking a lot of water. But Blaha does some really weird things here. So I don't know why he does a couple of things. Some of the stuff that he does, I really don't get. Someone's missing there. Oh yeah, Pugman. Maybe he'll turn up. I always like good old Pugman, but like I said before, I didn't expect too many people to be on the live stream because it is Black Friday and it's after a holiday. So, but of course, naturally, the show must go on. Fernandez, I would probably avoid I eat jasmine rice at home, but avoid the Coke Zeros. Eventually, you're going to get kidney stones from that Coke Zeros. I found that out the hard way. Well, Kaizen, I think Richard would more benefit mentally. Number one, if he takes a break from doing these 8 and 9 hour live streams, because that can be very tolling, as well as getting off all those pills. I think it makes him, 1 minute it makes him pretty lethargic, and another time it just it just messes up with you. Oh, Pugman's here. Didn't see him earlier. Hey, Pugman, if you're here, give a holler there. I guess I came up here kind of super late today, 5 minutes before 10. So I don't shop on Black Friday or anything like that or Christmas. I usually get gift cards for people. I mean, the stuff you see on Black Friday, they're gonna be the same deals about a week or two later. No, Black Friday isn't racist here. I don't know why it would be. One thing I don't like is some people post on Facebook silly black facts there that just never actually happen. Like Black Friday, for example, one of my friends said that Black Friday was a day that they sold slaves, which is just straight BS and stuff. Greg does a lot of does do a lot of enemas, but it's more or less just to clear out his system as far as to what he's eating. So I think if you do too many enemas, it could irritate your prostate, so and your butthole essentially. I can guarantee Vegan Gains has never trained in any type of MMA. You know, number one, a school would actually have to accept them or so forth. But, even MMA is not going to teach you how to fight, because a real fight is not in a cage. Whenever I did security work or so forth, it's open air. Anyone can pull out anything. And even in corrections, I mean, it's still not really a cage. You could still move around. And there's no rules there. You can get your eyes gouged out and stuff like that. MMA is fighting. I always like watching MMA, but it's not real fighting. Not fighting in the sense that, when you went to high school and you met after class and everything like that, whenever the school bus rolled away and you got yourself into a real fight. When is White Friday? I don't know. The purpose of Black Friday, folks, by the way, Black Friday is for, most businesses throughout the year are in the red or in the negative in profits. Black Friday is to allow businesses to get back into the black in terms of making a profit. That's why they call it Black Friday for. It's, if you have a business and you hear the term in the red, that means that you're not making a profit, you're taking a loss. Black Friday is to give the deals to get yourself back in the black or making profit. Well, Fernandez, the reason why people are so obsessed with race is because it's a serious issue in America as opposed to other countries here. I mean, we definitely have a race problem here, as well as many other problems. We have a migrant problem. We have that. We have an inflation issue. And we basically do it to ourselves. Raw, someone's already posted Vegan Gains' pictures. A picture of his abdominals. He has no abs. He has lumps sticking out from the sides here, which was to be expected. He put that all on OnlyFans, and what happened is, naturally someone signed up for a membership and posted the pictures everywhere. You can find them on Reddit. I mean, I do have kinks, but again, I keep that under the curtains and stuff. But if you ever go on, what you could do, because I always kick back and forth with only certain people like Joe Pietaro. So if you go on his Muscle Sport live stream, he can answer that for you there. Because sometimes as a joke, I usually send him a couple of pictures and stuff just to mess with his head and everything. But I've known Joe for many years. I have to really know someone for like a decade or someone who's been around the sport in order to do that. But ultimately, I keep the curtains closed. So, no, Kaizen. I mean, mass immigration isn't the problem. Here's my idea. Here's my way of solving immigration. Simply make sure that employees pay immigrants at least $15 an hour. If you pay immigrants $15 an hour, that removes the incentive for employees to go and attract these migrants. These migrants come over just for jobs there mainly. 95% of them are for jobs. And these employers hire them because they can pay them under the table like $5 or $6 an hour. If you make a requirement that any illegal immigrant has to be paid $15 an hour, that removes the incentive and you would take care of your immigration problem. Coffin, I would have no idea. I mean, gays and lesbians have been around almost since the beginning of time. Definitely in the ancient Roman times and ancient Egyptian times there, you know. And of course, naturally, animals in the wild also have same sex as well. So, Rawl, I've never been on Vegan Gains' OnlyFans. I've never signed up for a membership. I don't want to see. But as far as his performance is concerned, it's probably horrible. Well, yes, Fernandez. When you go to any other country, yeah, you're just an American. One thing about European countries, they don't really make a distinction. Yeah, 5% are coyotes or running drugs and stuff. Classic Hollywood movie recommendations. Oh my gosh, there are so many different ones. There's nothing like a good classic movie. But, if you want to really start, you got to go with the Duke. You got to go with John Wayne. Now, John Wayne, he was a racist there. But he made good movies. He made great movies. Rooster Cogburn. And, in TBS still, I think they have their Spend the Day with the Duke. But I would start with John Wayne. And then you got people like Humphrey Bogart. And of course, everyone's watched the Three Stooges made classic movies. The Marx Brothers. I mean, there's so many good classical stuff. I think that stuff is a lot better than what's out there because we're living pretty much in a woke society to where the comedy many years ago just wouldn't fly here. You definitely couldn't see anything like in Living Color, for example. Well, judging when I overheard when Big Lenny went and did that live stream with that Mistus Goddess, and I heard all the stuff going on in the background, I thought I was just completely disgusted there. So I'll just leave it at that as far as his sexual performance is concerned. At least his parts are working there, so. At least he does have a sex drive. You can at least give him that. I think Tarantino feels that way, and I can see why. Usually when it comes to directors, their very last movie, they always feel is going to be their best movie because just like anything else, we always feel that anything new that we do is going to be better than the last thing. Technology changes. When George Lucas made Star Wars in '77, they used, plastic models and stuff like that. And now you have computer animation there. And George Lucas remastered the Star Wars with that same computer animation. But things have to be better than before because we change. Things change. I mean, I remember when I bought my hi-fi stereo VCR, I spent like $200. And my first DVD player was like, I think, $400. Now you can get them out of a Cracker Jack box, and the only way you can find a VCR is if you go to a Goodwill. My mom does still have her VCR, so she actually has a combination VCR and DVD player. I think she's had that for over 20 years. Big Lenny likes trans women, but I think that's not the biggest thing. I think he just likes being dominated. At least that's what I could hear over his live stream that he posted. I think he just likes more or less being dominated. I wouldn't consider Big Lenny as being gay or straight, actually, for that reason. I think he's pretty much neutral in between the terms, and he's just trying to come. Uh, he's trying to make it. He's trying to come to a conclusion as far as to who he is here. The comics are okay. It's just the movies I don't like. The comics have a lot more detail in it than movies, but it's the same with anime. Yeah, whenever I had a DVD player, I liked them there. The only problem is that most of my porn at the time was on VHS tapes here, just like any other person's. But and, you definitely don't want to throw out those tapes itself because they were like 6 hours long, as opposed to when you bought a DVD, you would only get 2 hours worth of it. Of course, that's all pretty much gone now because you can just go on the internet and see what you want to see. So, honestly, yeah, but that's the whole thing about DVD players. I still kept my I kept my VCR for until I got rid of my VCR in 2003, actually, and I got all my tapes from a. Where did I get my tapes from? It was from. It was a company in the back of Playboy magazine that I got my stuff from, and then there was a website called Pixabay where I got my DVDs at the time, and this is before the streaming was around when you had dial up internet back in the day. You obviously couldn't stream, so you had to go to DVDs and stuff. But I love DVDs here because whenever I saw the DVD, I couldn't believe how clear the pictures were and everything, as opposed to a VCR. Well, Mark Hamill doesn't know good business there. I think Mark wanted to more or less preserve his culture instead of it being watered down on movies, so he has a wrong train of thought. You shouldn't train abs every single day. Just remember, most exercises that you do naturally train the abs. You should only train your abs once a week, just if you're going to do it directly. World of Warcraft has caused many divorces, amongst other things. I've not watched the World Cup there. I've just watched a couple of replays and checking the scores there. I'll watch the big game pretty soon there once that comes up. Yeah, good old VHS porn. That's how I grew up there. When I was a kid, we would sneak in. I would go over my friend's house and stuff. We would just go and sneak and find the parents' VHS tapes and stuff. I mean, I know how to crip walk Bean Smasher, but that's something that most black folks would know how to do is crip. Full Metal Alchemist, that's a. I didn't like I like the. If you're talking about the remake anime as opposed to the live action, which was in Japanese, yes, the remake was a lot better than the original. Do I have any phobias? Yes, bees, because I'm very allergic to bees. Raw VHS tapes don't lead to porn. VHS is just a medium to it there. Before there was VHS tapes, there were magazines. Before there were magazines, there was record players. Before that, there were chiseled stones by cavemen. So, Pugman, I was wondering where you are. Hope you've been doing well. Hope you got a lot of turkey. And as always, thanks again for the donation there. Like I said, a couple people are jumping in there. Like I said, I'm glad I actually didn't postpone it till tomorrow there because I expected everyone to be all busy with family and everything. But of course, you guys are like my family, so I guess so. Shut up, Raw. Shut up. Anytime Pugman donates, it goes directly back in the channel and allows me to do other things with the channel, the website, present new things as well. So, I mean, next week I'm going to be getting another webcam that's going to be playing in 4K. So, you're going to notice, if you've noticed, the picture has gotten well because I was actually able to fix my video camera. So, things do get better there, you know. But I hope everyone donates here, not just Pugman, you know. Like I said, you don't have to donate in order for me to answer questions, but, you know, any donations you make really does help out the channel, so. Bro Train, porn videos, whether gay or straight, have been around since videos were, I mean, there's even porn pictograms from the late 1900s here, so that's always been around there. It's always going to be around. Andy, I like watching both, actually. Why not watch both, you know? I mean, that's what I got my hands on at the time, and because I wasn't out or anything like that, that was the only thing I could watch. Other than just reading text and stuff like that. I mean, there was a website out there, but then they started publishing kiddie stuff there, and I'm like, ugh. But, you know, they started doing that in 2000, so I don't even, you know, I ain't into no fucking kids or anything, so. But I think, I mean, I do miss the days where you can read and see pictures and stuff like that, so. But again, technology changes here. Now everyone streams it and you can go and watch as much as you want for free. So, you can't train abs for cosmetic purposes. The only way you can really show your abs is actually getting down in weight. The abs are pretty much the only muscles that are naturally built already. You know. Would I date Steven Seagal? No, because he's old and fat. Why am I forbidden from owning a firearm? I won't go into it, but there was a couple of incidents here. Let's just put it that way. But no, I'm not allowed to own a firearm. That's why I tried to reapply. I may actually get it this time there, so. KSI Sniper, how you doing? Welcome to the midnight run. I definitely appreciate your donation. If you have a question to ask, feel free to ask it there. So, I had burgundy leather trousers back in early 2000 because that was the style to wear in gay clubs. That comes from the Puff Daddy era, the late 90s to early 2000s. So, yes, I used to have leather pants and leather jeans and stuff. So, yeah, but that was just the general style. Everyone was wearing leather pants, leather baggy pants and stuff. So, Bean Smasher, thanks again for the donation. I can't sea walk here because you won't be able to see my feet if I do it there. You know, I'm not in a position to where I'm showing the full body or anything, so it'd be impossible for me to do a crip walk. The worst date I've ever been out on is I went on a date and the dude went and robbed me. Stole my wallet, ran it up like $500. Pugman, Richard, as far as Canada is concerned, they got a lot stricter laws on firearms. I would seriously doubt that he would get them there based upon his previous videos of showing that knife around and yeet, yeet, yeet. Thoughts on Jay's uncle using the N-word? It doesn't surprise me at all there. A lot of people from his generation probably are pretty comfortable with using it. Deedle Tree Man is around. He posted a couple of things here. No, Raw, I've never fantasized about that. Brad Leather Daddy. Return of the Mac there, that's both a good song and it was a good movie as well. No, I've heard of Space Adventure Cobra. I think it went under a different name actually, but I had never seen that. I think that's considered more or less a space opera rather than, in particular. It actually went under a different name other than Space Adventure Cobra. I think that's the English term for it. It went by some other name. I can't think of it right now. Oh, you saw the Elvis movie? Awesome. I took a date actually to watch the Elvis movie. It was an awesome movie there. Yeah, that's one thing me and John Bravo have in common. We love Elvis. Elvis was a great musician. Rainbow colors. Well, that's weird. They ought to just get to the soccer game. I mean, one thing about sports is it's about sports. There, they need to leave all the political and social bullshit out of it. There, when I want to watch a football game, I want to watch people crack heads and throw balls and stuff like that. I don't want to see someone jingling their balls there. That stuff can wait until after the game, in the gym locker showers and stuff. Well, Raul, I already said that previously. I told you that Jay Masters and Big Lenny would get reunited there. They always argue. They get back together. They argue and they get back together. My old camera was better, but it kept cutting out there. I still have it up here. I'm actually I'm going to get back the same camera that I had at Verizon, which is a 4K camera. But this one is a lot more reliable and it works. But I don't think, when checking the clearness here, this one's a lot older camera, by the way. The camera that I'm using to live stream, it was top of the line back then, about 7 years ago, but not as of today. But I'm going to get a new 4K camera pretty soon. I wouldn't pay to see Big Lenny deadlifting in leather pants, but it would be good mints to see him lift in leather pants. Andy, you'll need to be more specific. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Would I be a participant on Love Island? No. Like I said, I absolutely hate reality shows. I've already been on a reality show anyway to begin with, which I didn't want to be anyway. I just wanted to compete. So I've been in 3 movies and I've been on 1 reality show. And I didn't even know I was going to be on a reality show or any part of it. So, yes, Truth One, they'll patch it up. The Misfits will always patch things up there no matter what. Don't flatter me, JMC. Stare down between Big Lenny and Vegan Gains. I think Vegan Gains will probably look away from Big Lenny. It's hard to actually look at Lenny all for more than like a couple of seconds and everything. I mean, he's a big guy, so. Well, I'll probably do a video one day of me doing the Crip Walk. I would have to put the camera angled to where you can see my full body there. Yeah, you could see my herpes if I had herpes here. So, I ain't got no herpes. But it would be a lot clearer. So, folks, work with me. If you if you feel my camera's bad, hey, throw something in the donation, in the collection plate. What reality show MTV's made I Want to Be a Bodybuilder? I'm in the background warming up, so. And if you watch the movie My Fellow Americans, I'm actually in the gay pride parade scene as well, so. No truth one. And by the way, folks, I'm not gonna unshow any block comments by YouTube because I don't want to get into any other trouble. As far as Joe Biden doing a stare down, he's not that senile, folks. There, he's just up in age there. So when people are up in age, they act like old folks. Thanks again for the donation, Bean Smasher. I tell you what, I'll make a separate video with me crip walking there just for you. It would have to be done on a different day, so hopefully that helps. How can you tell if someone has herpes? I mean, it would be generally bumps around the side of the mouth. I mean, when it comes to herpes, where the bumps are going to be is at the point of infection mostly. So if they're on someone's mouth, that means they were eating out someone's ass or something like that. Or if it's around the crotch, then, so. But herpes is one of those impact points there. One thing is that you may realize this, but more than half of Americans actually have them. It's actually it's naturally dormant in the body. It's just only whenever your white blood count is pretty low, and is when things like herpes actually show up. But generally speaking, herpes is actually dormant in the body. More than half, if not everyone, actually has herpes. So a lot of people don't really know that. If someone is showing outward appearances of herpes, they got bigger problems than herpes. What movies were I in? I was in My Fellow Americans. What were the other two? There was one. The other two, I wasn't really in it. I was just walking in the background or so forth there. Damn, I don't really remember that. Yeah, I was a gay parade extra. That My Fellow Americans was the only movie that I got paid as an extra. The other two, I was just walking in the background. Looks like I've been talking a little too much, so. Let's get a little bit more fire on this. No, I'm definitely not a Christian conservative there. Truth of the matter is, there's no such thing as one. You're just Christian and that's it there. The difference in Christianity is basically how you interpret the Bible. Yes, I've tried Oban Scotch whiskey. It's quite delectable there. I'm still big on Duncan Taylor, but Oban is a pretty good whiskey. Section 8 office employee would win any day. IRS would also win as well. Eventually, someone from the IRS is going to pay Blaha a visit. And eventually someone's going to pay Vegan Gaines a visit as far as him paying his taxes are concerned. Because something tells me he's not paying his Canadian taxes. I could be wrong. Like, for example, on my channel, Like right now, my chat revenue is $21.95, but YouTube automatically takes 30%, but they also take my taxes out in it as well. So even if I was on Streamlabs and I was taking PayPal, I would still have to pay taxes at the end of the year. So it's a loss leader, in other words. Yep, no one can beat the IRS. No one. Raw blunts and joints are just two different ways of calling marijuana, you know. But I've seen white people use the term blunts and joints. A joint is actually an older term for marijuana than a blunt. Joints were more. That was a term that was used more back in the '70s. You know, uh, I don't think so, Kaizen. Blaha is not a survivalist here. I like Cher. Isn't she dating some guy named like 40 years old or so forth? She's like 82 or so. But yeah, I like her music there. I mean, I'm not dressing up and buying any tickets to see her or anything like that. Reefer is something that Jamaicans use there. That's more or less a Jamaican term as far as reefer is concerned. I mean, you know what they call cigarettes in Europe, right? They call it the F word. So Fernandez, I've been saying that for like 5 years or so forth. He's been arrested before, but I certainly hope he doesn't snap or anything. That's been happening a lot lately. Y'all hear about that Walmart thing? I mean, I used to work at Walmart there. Could you imagine just coming into work and all of it? Next thing you know, you're dodging bullets or getting hit by bullets. Now, by the way, a friend of mine at Club Q, a casual friend, not someone I knew too well. He got hit 7 times there. He's in the hospital. They're trying to raise money for him. So I wish all the best for him there. That was the guy that did it. He's trying to call himself binary. And folks, don't fall for that BS there. The only reason why he's calling himself binary is just to avoid federal hate crime charges. They're still going to charge him with a hate crime. And I mean, you saw his father too there. So the minute that I saw that Dick Delaware was his father, now I know where he gets it from. So Andy, I consider blunt and joint the same thing. I mean, whether it's cigar or rolling paper, they're the same thing. I mean, cigar paper and rolling paper. I mean, I think when it comes to rolling something and using weed, they're going to use whatever they have laying around, essentially. No, I definitely don't want to see Big Lenny doing deadlifts in thigh high boots. Why would I date Don King for? Don King has killed like 2 people in his lifetime there. He needs to be in prison, actually, rather than. I can't believe someone that's killed 2 people can actually stay out of prison. And we're not talking Kyle Rittenhouse type stuff here, which he shouldn't have never been charged really to begin with. There, in my opinion, because I expected nothing out of it, given the fact that everybody was rioting. You can't be right if you're in the wrong there, essentially. But Don King actually stomped a man to death, actually. He shot one person, but he stomped another person to death, just like that, over some money being owed. And he never spent a day in prison. Of course, I like reggae. Uh, I like reggae music there. I mean, anyone that's heard Bob Marley and stuff like that, that's just one of those black things, you know? Yeah, Black Lives Matter. Would I ever debate the conservative Cuban? I would probably debate him, but I would humiliate him at the same time there. He's not a very intelligent person there. He just rants on. He doesn't know. To be honest with you, he knows nothing about being a conservative. He's never worked for the Republican Party or anything like that. You see, I know where all the dirty laundry is. You spend a year working for the Republican Party, you figure out a couple things. Well, OJ didn't get away with murder. A rich person got away with murder. Rich people generally get away. Used to back in the day, used to get away with murder. Not so much in this day and age. There, you know. But you know what they say? I mean, even in this day and age, money talks and bullshit walks. Yeah, he ripped off Mike Tyson. He ripped off a lot of boxers. But Don King's a very scary person there. I mean, a person that can just go and stomp a person to death there. That it takes a lot just to stomp someone to death, literally. You know, Don King. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to meet him years ago when he was collecting, and he's also connected as well. So that's another reason why you don't want to mess with Don King because, you know, he works with the mob and everything. So, I mean, as tough as Tyson is, Don King is connected there. He's connected there. He's not because if he was Italian, he would be in the mafia. You know, literally. The only reason why he's not in the mafia, he's not a mafia member. He's not is simply because he's black. But he is still connected. I think McCluck is a little bit more annoying than Cuban, actually. Cuban is like a sidekick to Jay Masters here. He rambles on about things there, but, you know, like I said, it's just a level until he was paying huge kickbacks, but he was also working for them as well. He did their collections. Don King's about 5'6", actually. He's shorter than me. I haven't seen that video of Jason and Don Ming at Costco. I've not seen that yet. Yeah, so that's why he got away with ripping people off because if someone said something about it, you don't mess with mob money, you know. And sometimes you don't even have a choice as far as Don King being your manager or not, you know. She met, I guess there, so. mm. The one good thing about Hudson Bays, their value price, but it's got that Cuban seed Nicaraguan tobacco. Just love it there. I don't even know how they price these like that. The only thing is it just heats up pretty quickly. She did. Yeah, look how that turned out. Look, folks, one thing that I actually learned from my parents is you can never make peace with someone that's hell bent to make war. It just doesn't work. Yeah, never call a black woman the C word, never ask her weight, never ask whether she's pregnant or not. The Buster Douglas fight was not, I don't think it was rigged at all. I think, like I said, in boxing, everyone has a punch, is just one punch away from being knocked out. I think Buster Douglas was just on that night, and other ones weren't. I mean, it's like the UFC. You know, you can have some unranked person all of a sudden knock a guy out there. Everyone has a puncher's chance. Tyson was partying hard in training. I don't think it affected his boxing performance. Buster Douglas was just good that night there. But don't forget, Buster Douglas only on his very next fight he got knocked out pretty much. So I don't go to the gym with a war mindset, and I don't recommend it for anyone because when you go with a war mindset, you're gonna try to lift the heaviest weights possible, and that's going to get you more hurt. That's what happens to Richard. He goes in with a war mindset, and with him doing a live stream while he's lifting, he's in a position where he can't fail a lift there because it makes him look bad. Me personally, I would never live stream working out. I would just pre-film it there in case I drop the weight on me or so. But when I go to the gym, you have to go in a professional and orderly type manner. Well, Fernandez, with black women with natural hair, uh, even though it can be natural, a lot of times it can be filled with a lot of relaxers there. I mean, I had a flat top back in the mid '90s, but after the '90s, I pretty much had a Jerry curl and stuff, just like because that was an Atlanta type thing. I actually had spiked hair at one time as well. I mean, it's amazing, and I used Duke's relaxer in order to get that. But yeah, at one time I actually had spiked hair. A pit bull is only as dangerous as the owner. If the owner raises it with love, then a pit bull is a perfect animal itself. I mean, a pit bull is bred to be pretty wild and everything like that. But again, it's up to the owner. But I think they're perfectly legal to own here. What I have issues with is some of these people are mixing wolf breeds with dogs. Now that's quite dangerous there. But a pit bull itself there is pretty much pure dog, so it's really up to the owner itself as far as the train. Well, you use Duke's relaxer in order to spike an afro. But that's what a lot of people were doing. Flat tops were around in the late '80s, early in the mid '90s. So once that style went out, it went back to the pre '80s things to where everything was pretty much a Jerry curl for a little bit. Now the afros are coming back. But generally speaking, all these hair trends repeat itself unless you're like me and all of a sudden you lose your hair. Yeah, wolf dog hybrids are highly dangerous. And now they're mixing them more with wolf dog hybrids, and then they mix them again and mix them again. And then eventually you end up with more of a wolf than an actual dog. J Master should not be boxing anyone at all. He needs to take it easy. He's gonna be in that hospital again if he keeps acting that way. No, not VO5. You had different types of relaxers and activator kits. You had Proline, you had Duke, and stuff like that. And some people still use the wave grease and everything. It's a hard grease, and then you put the do-rag on, and then it waves out the hair. Yep, just let your soul glow. Mine wasn't dripping or anything. Well, broccoli haircuts, it's just another trend there. Of course, a long time ago, people were dressed a lot better. If you look in the pictures from the 20s and 30s and up to the 60s, everyone had a suit and a tie on. I would like it to go back to the times where we actually started back wearing suits and ties, but I guess those days are long past. I have no beefs with Adam. He's never said anything bad about me. So, unless someone says anything bad about me, I'm not going to really have a. And it also has to be consistent too, because I don't stay mad for too long at anyone. The only person I ever stayed really mad at was Derek Anthony and John Romano. Me and John Romano have never been friends. Yeah, I still keep my suits and ties there. Speaking of which, probably tomorrow I'm probably going to go back to the Swordfish Club. I just feel like doing it. I haven't been in like months. I'll probably pop in, have a little drink or so forth, say hey to everyone. Yeah, John Romano is a moron. He's a great writer, but he's full of himself. He thinks he's a rock star. The only thing he is an ex-felon, but technically I should be an ex-felon too, so. No, I never got into the SARMs game because here's the thing, SARMs are illegal, and if I'm going to do something illegal, it's going to be steroids here. Why would I use why would I get myself in trouble for some watered down? If I'm going to get in trouble, I'm going to use some real stuff. Oh, I see you changed your picture over to the swordfish. Actually, I'll send you a link and you can actually use the real swordfish logo. But as always, thanks again for the donation. Let me see. Swordfish Club. Hang tight a minute. This here is the link for the Swordfish Club. If you want to get the actual link itself. I love Ray Romano. He's a good comedian there. Definitely know John Romano. Definitely can't a crip walk or videotape the swordfish. I can only really just take pictures. But it's a gentleman's bar, You have to be a professional there. That's another example of like a cigar lounge to where you have to have etiquette and you got to have style and class and everything. I don't think their menu actually is published on their website. It's simply a website to where you put the. There is a little shop there, but it's mainly just for the purpose of setting reservations to go to the Swordfish. And then even then, you have to find out where it is anyway, because there's no big sign or anything out there. There's just a little tiny logo on the window with the picture of a swordfish. No, Snoop Dogg is not my type. Well, some of the cigar lounges I went to used to be at strip clubs, but now they're pretty much separate. I think it's because the strip clubs more or less wanted people to pay for the girls. And not only that, you can no longer smoke in any bars or anything, which is kind of weird. There should be just a smoking and non-smoking section. I think it's ridiculous that you can no longer smoke indoors, but cigars over with here on there, so we've twisted it up. So just going to drink brandy and a little coffee here. I guess you can say that. I mean, it's just from they're not actually related because John Romano is not his real name, by the way. It's like Giuseppe something. John Romano is just what he calls himself there. His real name is like Giuseppe something there. Yeah, Palumbo does have some big feet there. I mean, mine's a size 12, so I mean, I also have big feet. You don't need stability to do a crip walk at all, Once you've learned it, I could still do the kid and play as well. Once you've done it so many times there, it just comes naturally. It's like riding a bike. No, Method Man is not my type. Yeah, they might. Big Lenny's a big dude there. He's pretty tall, so. Gianni Romano, I don't even think his last name is Romano. But it's like Giuseppe or something like that. It could be Gianni. No, I don't think you can crip walk in stilettos. Yes, I did break dance in the 80s. Most people did. Break dancing is definitely an 80s thing. I could do the centipede, spin on top of my head, and stuff like that. Do the robot. That's just one of those 80s things there. Break dancing was the rage. The late 70s, everyone was kung fu fighting. Novice lifters should not be doing a full body. They should be doing full body workouts, but not a 5x5. Novices should only work one body part for like 12 reps and then move on to the next exercise just to begin. They should only do it like 3 days a week as well. Bigfoot does not exist. Either the people that saw him were probably doing drugs, or they just basically mistaken it for a bear. Because bears, by the way, can walk on their 2 feet, actually. So what they probably saw was just a bear that was walking on both 2 of his feet. I was not very pleased with John Bravo, and I actually messaged him after that as far as to why he messaged Genova, because that just got him into a lot of trouble. I actually made a video about it, so if you wanted to check out that video, it is on my channel as far as to what I thought about it. Pug man, I can't break dance. There's no room for me to do that. So and do the robot and everything, but no break dancing, no crip walk, sorry. No, Jay Masters couldn't be the Colonel. The Colonel was pretty skinny anyway, so. I love R. Kelly's music there. I don't like the things that he did, but I wouldn't get down with R. Kelly. Was I human? No, I definitely was not in the Human Centipede. But the centipede is a breakdancing maneuver, so. Yes, a walking bear. Bears can walk on their hind legs there, just like human beings. So Bigfoot actually is probably just a bear that was walking on its hind legs there. John Bravo does change his voice there. Remember, I mean, like I said, he's John Bravo's not white or anything, so uh, his act. It's hard to describe his actual voice or so forth. It's not the one that he actually uses there. I think it would be a cross between him and probably Big Rob Fitness or so forth, if anything. But they're definitely not alike. I like John Bravo. John Bravo's good people. Have I ever seen a UFO, unidentified flying object? Not of the alien type there. I did go to a gay bar one time and some gay person threw some sort of strange fluid all over the floor and everything. Almost hit me or so forth. I'm not sure what that was. I guess that can be considered an unidentified flying object. Isn't two holes better than one? You only need one to operate and one that you can use at one time, so. Big Rob Fitness was never funny at all. He was just an asshole, you know. And his stuff about approaching people outside, I absolutely hate people who do that. Before I was bald, no, I just had a general haircut there. By that time, after the flat top, I had my hair spiked and everything. After I stopped using that, I had just a regular average haircut. And then I lost my hair, so now I keep it shaved. I have no opinion on Hunter, just Hunter Biden. No, you can't get a table, Pugman. You can't even get a bar seat. You have to set a reservation. There is no VIP guest list at the Swordfish. You just have to set reservations. So that way they can preserve a bar stool for you. If you want a table, that's a lot harder to get, though, than a bar stool. Whenever I make reservations at the Swordfish, I get a bar stool. But if I'm bringing friends over, then I'll schedule about a week in advance for a table. Tables are hard to get at the Swordfish. I never saw Bravo as looking hot or anything like that. He's just a friend of mine, you know. If I'm friends with someone, I don't see them in 99% of the time, I don't see them in a sexual type way or anything. Have I ever been in a threesome? I've been in a couple of threesomes here. That I will tell you. I've even been in a threesome with two women too, so if that helps. So, in fact, yeah, just all except one that was a threesome. Yeah. Did I ever use that hair lightening gel? No, I just used the relaxer stuff. When you have plenty of hair and stuff like that, and you have the right stuff, you can easily get spikes. No, I've never been in an Octum sum here, so I can at least unblock that. It says you're an animal. I'm not sure why I'm not sure why YouTube blocked that. Pugman, I just live life there, you know. I mean, but you have to remember things like threesomes and stuff like that. This happened like this is over a decade ago, you know. I'm 45 years old, so I'm not as wild as I used to be. When you get older and you get mature and stuff like that, you get to the point to where, you know, you've been there, you've done that, you don't there I have nothing to prove anymore as far as doing anything. But I've been in a few threesomes with women there before, so that was me trying to figure out whether I was gay or not. Not saying I didn't have fun, but it's just one of those things there. So I've actually probably dated a lot more women than men, actually. Because pretty much by the time I was comfortable with being gay or so forth, I was at a point to where I wasn't knocking boots with everything I saw, in other words. So no, not at all there. Nowadays I mostly drink at home anyway in moderation if I do. I don't drink as much anymore because I'm not going out as much. I'm not required to as working at Verizon, you would go out with friends and stuff to drink and have fun. Now that I don't work anymore, I've really cut down on it. Exactly, Dito. I mean, I'm not really looking for instant gratification. I'm just at a point to where I'm just too old for the BS and stuff like that. And threesome, and in a threesome anyway, threesomes are always problemsome because there's always going to be someone in that threesome that's feeling like they're not getting enough attention, if that makes any sense. It can be a chore if you don't plan ahead. When I go to the Swordfish Club, I'll actually make an appointment. I'll have my clothes out already. I'm pretty much organized as far as meetings are concerned. I always use a calendar to schedule anything. If I have an activity or something that I have to remember, you can just simply use a calendar on your phone. Even the cheapest phones have Google Calendar. People should use a calendar in order to keep up with appointments more often instead of trying to write it down or try to keep it in your head. Have I ever been with a 10-10-10? I've been with a lot of 10-10-10s. A lot better than what Lenny's been with there, so yeah. What dish you should get at the Swordfish? The question you should be asking, Pugman, is what drink you should get. The Swordfish is a cocktail club, so you go there to drink the best drinks out there of the finest liquors and everything like that. As far as eating is concerned, I would try the chicken wings, actually. Either that or the bone marrow. Which I know by saying that, I'm sure I'd get a giggle out of J Masters, but the chicken wings are pretty good. I've shown some pictures of my food and everything, but again, thanks again for the donation. Yes, Pugman, there's not going to be a menu because the menu changes every single week there from the flavor of ice cream and everything, because again, it's a drinking bar. The website is very nondescript. It's there just to simply set up an appointment. There's not a menu. There's not big signs. There's no advertising or anything like that. You just have to know that it exists and you have to know how to get there because there's no signs on the building or anything. Everyone has social anxieties at some point in time. Even I do. So that's just a given there. Where someone has a social anxiety, whether they're afraid of meeting up with someone. The biggest type of social anxieties would be like a date, for example, if you're going out with someone. If I'm even at my age going out with someone there, if I do, that does give me a little bit of anxiety. Have I ever... Next question. What's my choice of swordfish attire? Usually a sports coat and a collared shirt. You can't wear... You can wear jeans there, but it's preferred to go business casual. No, they hand you a menu. There's no signs up or anything like that. The only thing that's in front of you is racks and racks of different drinks there, all the way up to the ceiling. Andy, it's cold right now, but generally South Carolina is generally warm, not is usually hot weather. No, they don't serve sushi at the Swordfish. There's no burgers and fries at the Swordfish neither. Yes, they do have a drink called the Blue Oyster. You can have any drink made at the Swordfish Club. I mean, like I said, it's a cocktail bar, so you can make the most exotic drinks with the finest liquors here. There are some drinks there that can run you up to $100 and some or even more. I don't know what the term of super gay is. I'm just gay. I'm just myself there. I don't even see myself as being gay or black. I just see myself as just a human being trying to make a dollar out of 15 cents. My dad's a Freemason there, but I guess Freemasons can go to the Swordfish Club if they want. So, isolating the serratus muscle. Like I said, that goes back to abdominals and stuff there. Most exercises will naturally work the serratus muscle. You may see some channels up there talking about how to train abs and stuff like that. And it's just ridiculous there. Most exercises are going to naturally train the serratus muscle. Yep, they actually have that on the menu for Yamabuki. That's one of the things that's actually on a menu. Manliest hobby, in my opinion, probably axe throwing. Either that or rock climbing. Rock climbing is a pretty manly activity. I'm definitely not flamboyant. You can consider me like a dandy, I guess, as far as a gentleman is concerned. I dress nice and everything like that. I want to dress and be taken seriously as a professional. I think black folks that have their legs hiked up, wearing big baggy pants and stuff like that, I think it's ridiculous. Even when I was a kid, I never wore that stuff. You just want to look your best. I want to present myself in a positive light when people meet me. I want to make sure my shoes are shined and everything. I follow the advice of Karl Lagerfeld. You should never go out in public wearing jogging shorts and tennis shoes and stuff. So unless you're going to go to work out, and even then, that can only be at a point. No, Andy, I've pretty much figured things out. Remember, I was with all these women just in order to figure things out there, essentially. Well, as far as clubs are concerned, the names of the club has to identify really as far as to what type of crowd you want there, And that's the point with club names there. But that's not just gay clubs. That's just all clubs. If you're, and speaking of seafood restaurant, if you're going to have a seafood restaurant, would you name it Burger King? If you name a restaurant Burger King, you expect burgers. If you go to something like Long John Silver's, that being a seafaring pirate pretty much, then you expect seafood. So part of the name of something is to identify what type of crowd and audience here, no different than a restaurant. I don't have any opinion as far as the gayest hobby is concerned there. No, that's different from being the manliest hobby. So, but there's really no such thing as a gay hobby. Any hobby that can be taken, even camping or so forth, can be construed as being gay because I can pretty much say, for example, that camping, is two guys in a tent together and stuff like that, for example. I absolutely hate pants sagging. Skinny jeans, I don't really have too big of an issue because that's something that used to be done in the 20s and 30s. But if they're ultra skinny, and you have no legs or anything like that, then it looks stupid. Connection between a fish and an anus. A fish is a slang term for the vajayjay or the vagina, for the example. Uh, you're talking about two different things. Andy, the majority of my money, residual income wise, is from investments as well as from residuals from writing and websites that I've built, affiliate accounts and stuff. It doesn't make me retired. I'll never retire. I'll always be doing something. I appreciate that, Ancient. There, it's more of a matter of, like I said, you want to present yourself in the best light possible, and the people that you look up to and admire, like Frank Sinatra, for example. Frank Sinatra is one of my favorite people, like Elvis. When you admire and look up to someone, you want to be more like them. There, so that's why I got suit. That's why I got sports coats and stuff like that. And when I watch wrestling, you look at people like Tully Blanchard and Ric Flair. It's pretty much what I grew up with, and I want to be like those people, and I want to dress like them, like Kojak and stuff. So that's where a lot of my fashion comes from. Face from the Dirk Benedict. No, I wouldn't date him. He's got to be at least 70 or 80 now, or at least in his late 60s. I agree with you on that there, Kaizen. Uh, if older people are working, they're going to have an active mind, but what I don't like is elderly people working regular jobs in order to pay bills. They should be at a point to where they can enjoy the last years of their life. Rudy Ray Moore is funny, and I've always liked watching his movies. Roger Moore is someone I would want to dress like there. Watching the Saint, he was always a cool cat, in other words, here. So, but of course, I wouldn't dress like Rudy Ray Moore. I dress more like Roger Moore than Rudy Ray Moore. I've always not been sensible with my money, and I've racked up debt before. So it's you just got to hang in there. I mean, like I said, I've had some bad investments recently and stuff like that. I mean, my investment account from investing in stocks, a lot of my stocks are in Verizon, and I've lost now close to $20,000 in value as far as my stocks are concerned. Well, Andy, that would be an issue there because most music videos are copyrighted. So I would actually get copyright strikes if I was to do that. I don't think Dirk was as bad as Jan Michael Vincent there. Jan Michael Vincent, he really screwed up his life there. So, but Dirk Benedict was a lot more successful than Jan Michael Vincent. I mean, Jan Michael Vincent, he was, I mean, most people know him from the show Airwolf. But beyond that, because he was drinking and partying so much there, that he lost out on a lot of parts here. It's like it's like that kid that played on the kids show HR Puffin stuff. Can't remember his name right now, like Jack something. You know, he would have had a pretty decent career if he didn't have a problem with alcoholism. That's what I mean by you always want to do things in moderation. If you find yourself doing a little too much or so forth, and you'll know when you are, at that point in time, you need help and you need to reach out for help. You should never buy on whenever you're depressed there. I mean, I've done that before and made impulse buys back in the day. But that's what Richard Vegan Gaines actually does. He makes impulse buys in order to cure his depression. That's at least in my opinion is here. And people in society, they get themselves in debt trying to buy their way out on credit and just try to keep up with the Joneses because they feel that they're less of someone, you know. They'll always go and buy the biggest house and the most expensive car and the most expensive clothes. And the truth is, the more expensive clothes you buy, the cheaper you actually look. You ever see the folks up there wearing a big label that says Polo? Do you see wealthy people actually wearing that stuff? No, they don't wear that stuff. You know, the more money you spend on trying to look wealthy, then the less you're actually going to look wealthy. So I don't pay any attention to Kim Kardashian or any of the other Kardashians. I don't care about their donkey or anything. I do feel sorry for her for having to deal with Kanye West, but at the same time, the bitch knew what she was getting into. So yeah, camera and instance can be worthwhile if you have an interest in making videos or actually playing an instrument itself. But I wouldn't make it. One thing you definitely have to watch out for, and this is why our country is in so much trouble and so much debt, is because of impulse buys. I've never worked with SharePoint before. I'm not coordinated enough raw in order to skateboard. Not only that, I was never interested in it. I've dated skaters before, if that helps here. So, but skating, nah, just not my thing. As far as Arnold Schwarzenegger is concerned, I know a lot of people are disagreeing with him, but you have to remember he's in his 70s and stuff like that. So when you get older, it's sort of like the Joe Biden syndrome. You get more cranky and more eccentric over things that you normally really shouldn't. Jan Michael Vincent is dead, actually. So, I mean, I'm sure he looks a lot worse now that he's dead. Dirk Benedict's alcoholism messed him up, but not as bad as Jan Michael Vincent. He was still be Dirk Benedict was able to somewhat function, sort of. Now, I wouldn't order 66 Arnold there. I mean, think about it for a minute. You know Clint Eastwood, right? You know, at that Republican convention, he was talking to that seat. I mean, when people get older, you know, the brain isn't functioning as well as it is there, you know. And it's hard to see people get older. So The vegan gain saga will end whenever if his channel ever gets banned again permanently. Then things are going to get really bad. At the time when Tupac passed away, I wasn't a fan of his because it was always an East Coast West Coast thing. Because I'm pretty much East Coast or dirty South there. Uh, whenever I was growing up, when I went to the basketball court, nobody ever played Tupac music there. We played New York music. Because like I said, it was really an East Coast West Coast thing. If you lived on the East Coast, you played East Coast music. If you lived on the West, you played West Coast music. Now, at this point in time, because of that whole thing with Tupac and Biggie, I think it doesn't really matter at this point in time. Well, I think I'm going to be honest with you, Robert Kardashian would probably be doing the same things that Kim and the rest of the family was doing if he was alive. Where was I on 9/11? I was at home actually. It was my day off actually when that happened. But I was sitting here in Greenville, South Carolina. I watched the whole thing on TV. When the first plane crashed, I didn't think nothing of it. Once that second plane crashed into that building, I knew shit was happening, basically. You know, we were under attack. And then I heard all those other planes crashing. It was just a mess. Then the one goes into the Pentagon and stuff. But we paid them back, didn't we? We tore them up there. We made sure that the United States of America, you mess with any feathers on that eagle there, we're gonna burn you up. You know. Kris Jenner. Well, she does have her short hair like a boy, I guess. So I've seen Blaha's new home as well as Frank Tofano there. The only thing I've really seen is just all his weights are in a gym now. So you were in kindergarten at the time there. Yeah, there were a lot of angry people there. People were rioting. They wanted to go out there and kill someone there, which is exactly what we did. We had to make sure we had to let people know what time it was here. So it's kind of silly to mess with the United States of America. We're the most powerful country in the world. And I mean, when that happened, there are other countries like, oh man, someone effed with the United States of America. You knew what was gonna happen. We was gonna whoop some, and we still whooping up on people, and we still angry. 21 years later, we still want to get someone, and we are still getting people. I mean, every once in a while there, you hear about a drone strike hitting another terrorist or so forth. That all stems from 9/11. I think people are just as pissed as they are. I think people are just as pissed as before. One thing about the United States, we don't forgive or forget. Once you mess with us, all bets are off there. Your ass is grass, in other words. Right, folks? I don't think we'll ever go the way of the USSR. That's just a different animal there. You have to understand the USSR operates that way because of the values of the people there. The people elected Putin because they have the same mentality as Putin. Think about it for a minute. When we left Afghanistan after being there for 10 years, what happened? The Taliban took back over, Sharia law and all that stuff went over because that was the general mentality of the people. That's why I said we should have never stayed in Afghanistan that long, because those people don't want to be Americans. They want to be Afghanistans. They want Sharia law. They want their women all covered up and everything like that. I mean, that the USSR or Russia, I mean, that's the way the people operate. That's their mentality of things. That's no different than Afghanistan. That, how long did it take for the Taliban to take back over once we left? It was just a matter of days because that's what the people want. You can't turn those people into Americans. They're not Americans. They're not going to have the values of Americans. We were there for like 10 years. We spent billions of dollars. None of that stuff that we ever did rubbed off on them at all. They're Afghanistans. They deserve everything that they get. If they want to go and fuck goats and pigs and stuff like that, and have Sharia law and beat women and stuff like that, then that's what it is what it is, and what it's gonna be is what it's gonna be. There's only one type of American, and we're that. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is here. Countries operate the way they want to operate, If Sweden wants to, for example, if they want to welcome every single Nigerian in their country, then they deserve what they get. Sweden needs to close their borders. I love my beautiful black men and women and stuff like that. But honestly, there's no reason they should be coming in. And if they're not coming in for genuine reasons, they need to stay out of the damn country. I mean, let me put it to you this way: if I was from Nigeria, why would I go to another country for? Why would I go to Sweden or Europe or anything like that? I would just try to make my life as best as possible in Nigeria. I mean, Nigeria is not a backwards country per se or so forth. There's plenty of cities in Nigeria that look just as good as anything else here. I've never figured out why that takes place, and Sweden just allows everyone to come in there. I don't really get it there. And I mean, it may sound strange for me to say that and everything like that. But like I said, I'm gonna stay in the country that I was born in. If I was born in Nigeria, I would stay in Nigeria. If I was born in Mexico, I would stay in Mexico. You would just want to make your life there as far as the country. It's good to visit a particular country or so forth. Now, if I was up there knocking up a dude or something like that, and that dude lived in Europe, then yeah, I would move to Europe, but I would do it the right way. I would get a passport, work visa, apply for citizenship and stuff like that, Yeah, we do send too much money overseas. We send money to everybody. I don't get why, I mean, if it financially benefits us there, that's fine. I mean, we're sending all this money to the Ukraine, and the Ukraine ain't even appreciative of our generosity. Why are we sending so much money to these other countries when our country needs it first? America first for once there. We seem to always put other countries before us before the interests of the people, if I pay my taxes, I want my taxes to go towards me. I don't want it to go to any other country whatsoever. Ukraine has enough of our money. We need to stop giving away our money to Ukraine or even Africa of that. We got problems here domestically. Let them take care of their own shit. You know what I mean? So. Well, I think Elon Musk is actually... That stuff from Twitter should have never been covered up, but I can see how the Hunter Biden stuff would have influenced a particular election. That's the same with Trump's kids there as well. The reason why they go after Hunter Biden is simply to go after... They're not really going after Hunter Biden. They're going after Joe Biden there, But we'll see exactly what happens to Hunter Biden. I think his day's up to where he's going to finally be charged with something. Yes, there should be an America First policy at most points here. I'm not saying that we don't give humanitarian aid, but we should have a system to where they're going to at least pay us back for whatever we give them there. We're just handing out money and we're not expecting or have any expectation to give anything back here. We should treat any money that we give out there, we should treat it like the Sicilian mob. You pay us back with some freaking interest. You know what I mean? So, if we give money to someone, and it's not, and I mean, unless the country is all blown up there and there's kids starving, okay, we can give them a little money. But if it's a country, we're sending money to the first world. We're sending money to Monaco. Monaco's one of the richest countries out there. And then we're sending money to Luxembourg. Why are we sending money to Luxembourg for? Luxembourg's one of the richest countries out there. Why are we giving money out to them for? It doesn't make any sense. No, I wouldn't date William here. Yeah, but what kind of weapons or construction contracts can you get from Luxembourg? What kind of weapons would you get from Nigeria? You're going to get a bunch of sticks and stones and spears and planes and stuff like that? I mean, what are you going to get from Nigeria? What are you going to get from Somalia? You're not going to get anything from there. So, I mean, if we're going to loan money out there, it's good to pay for humanitarian aid. The money we should have given to Ukraine should have been really for humanitarian aid, and that's only to a certain point. But when we start going and paying and financing for their weapons and stuff like that, why? Why are we paying for Ukraine's weapons for? It's simple as that, Country's all screwed up there, I'm tired of my tax dollars going that far. Yeah, I mean, Nigeria is a great country. I mean, Nigeria is a nice country. A lot of people have the misimpression that Africa is like a third world country and stuff like that. It's like here in the United States here. You go to the backwoods of Kentucky, there's places in North Carolina that I know, like Madison County, are practically living in huts and stuff like that and sheds and everything like that. You can go anywhere in this country. You can go into anywhere in the world and you can find a location where there's shacks and stuff like that. But, Africa's not really a third world country. They got cities and skyscrapers and stuff like that. So, all right, folks, it is midnight. All right. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Midnight Run. Let's do it next week. I'm going to go have myself a little more coffee. Then I'm going to head to bed. And yes, I can sleep even drinking coffee, folks. Y'all have a good night. Don't take yourselves too seriously or anything like that. Don't get yourself in any trouble. You folks have a good weekend. Please be sure to tune in to VinceGoodrum.com. Don't forget, you can always send a super thanks if you didn't get your donations in the collection plate. So as always, peace and soul. Actually, let's do one more thing. Let's do this instead here. Check this out. I'm going to run a little late. I know one of y'all wanted me to play this again. right, folks. Now I'm done. Y'all have a good weekend, folks. I just wanted to get y'all in a good mood for the weekend. So we're in a good mood there now. So again, peace and soul. Never take yourself too seriously, folks.